On November 5, 2021, Brazilian singer Marília Mendonça boarded a private flight in Goiânia, the capital of the state of Goiás. Accompanied by her producer Henrique Ribeiro and her uncle and manager Abicieli Silveira Dias Filho, they were on their way to Caratinga, a small town in Minas Gerais, where she had a scheduled performance. The aircraft, a twin-engine Beechcraft manufactured in 1984 in the United States, was in regular condition and authorized by the National Civil Aviation Agency, ANAC, for air taxi services. However, a few kilometers from Caratinga Airport, the plane tragically crashed in the rural area of Piedade de Caratinga. What could have gone wrong? Stay with us as we explore the mysterious and moving details of this tragic event. On November 5, 2021, a tragic event shook the world of country music. Marília Mendonça, the beloved queen of country music, embarked on a fateful flight that would never reach its destination. At 4:02 p.m. on that fateful day, 26-year-old Marília Mendonça boarded a twin-engine Beech aircraft, registration PT-ONJ. Operated by Pesci Taxi Aéreo, the plane had a capacity for 6 passengers, plus the pilot and co-pilot, and the emergency exit was on the right side of the aircraft, where Marília is seen sitting before takeoff. The aircraft was in regular condition, with all necessary authorizations to fly. Along with Marília were the experienced pilot Geraldo Medeiros, co-pilot Tarcísio Viana, her dedicated producer Henrique Ribeiro, and her dear uncle and manager Abicieli Silveira Dias Filho. The aircraft took off from Santa Genoveva Airport in Goiânia, bound for the quiet town of Caratinga, in the interior of Minas Gerais, a distance of approximately 514 miles, which would be covered in about 2 hours and 28 minutes. Marília had a show scheduled for that night, and fans were eagerly awaiting her. The weather conditions were reasonably good, but there were areas of light to moderate turbulence along the route. Nothing seemed to indicate that anything would go wrong. However, fate had other plans. As the aircraft approached its destination, the unexpected and devastating happened. A few kilometers from Caratinga Airport, the plane collided with a power transmission line before crashing in the rural area of Piedade de Caratinga. The impact was devastating. Unfortunately, all occupants of the plane lost their lives at the scene. But what really happened? Was there human error? Were the power lines in areas considered irregular? These questions echoed in the minds of millions of Brazilians and fans around the world. Brazilian aviation authorities, including the National Civil Aviation Agency, ANAC, and the Center for Investigation and Prevention of Aeronautical Accidents, CENIPA, immediately launched a detailed investigation to determine the causes of the accident. Preliminary reports indicated that the collision with the power cables was the main factor in the accident. Additionally, it was found that the aircraft complied with all safety and maintenance standards, ruling out mechanical problems or inadequate maintenance as primary causes. The investigation also raised crucial questions. Why was the aircraft flying so low as to collide with transmission lines? Were there communication or navigation instrument failures? The answers to these questions would be vital to understanding what really happened on that fateful day. The civil police of Minas Gerais concluded that the pilots of the plane carrying singer Marília Mendonça were responsible for the tragic accident that occurred in November 2021 in Caratinga. The transmission towers of the Companhia Energética de Minas Gerais, Cemig, which the aircraft collided with, were outside the airport's safety area and therefore did not need to be marked. However, the presence of these towers was clearly indicated in the World Aeronautical Chart and the Pilotage Aeronautical Chart, documents that the pilot and co-pilot should have consulted to analyze obstacles near the airport. The report from the Center for Investigation and Prevention of Aeronautical Accidents, CENIPA, of the Brazilian Air Force, revealed that the aircraft was flying at a lower altitude than recommended. According to the document, the pilots began their approach to the runway at a distance greater than expected for a Category B performance aircraft, increasing the risk of collision with obstacles that could not be identified in advance. The officers responsible for the case pointed out that the crew did not follow the proper operational procedure. During the landing, there was an extension of the downwind leg, a maneuver performed parallel to the runway, often used to provide greater comfort to passengers during landing. However, the incorrect execution of this maneuver, combined with a speed higher than ideal, resulted in the aircraft leaving the airport's safety area and colliding with the transmission towers, culminating in the crash. The impact with a lightning protection cable tore off the aircraft's left engine, causing the pilots to lose control of the twin-engine plane with a reduction in acceleration still during the flight. The CENIPA report also highlighted that the cables were below the pilot's line of sight, as at the moment of impact, their attention was focused on the runway. Additionally, the energy equipment had low contrast with the vegetation, making it difficult to perceive at long distances. According to the document, there was also an inadequate assessment of the aircraft's operation parameters in relation to the approach profile for landing, contributing to the tragic outcome. For the investigators, it was clear that the crew should have been aware of the transmission towers, as indicated in the aeronautical charts. The failure to follow established procedures was considered negligent and imprudent, leading to the conclusion that both the pilot and the co-pilot were responsible for 3 involuntary manslaughter. Since both also died in the accident, there was an extinction of liability, meaning there are no longer any living individuals to be held accountable, and the police recommended that the judiciary archive the case. The officers also stated that after eliminating 3 possible causes of the accident, mechanical failure, sudden illness, and sabotage, they focused on analyzing the maneuver performed by the crew during the landing at Caratinga Airport. The possibility of mechanical failure was ruled out based on the CENIPA report, released in May, which indicated no mechanical problems but highlighted a possible inadequate assessment by the pilot. The report from the Instituto Medico Legal, IML, ruled out the possibility of sudden illness or the use of drugs and alcohol by the pilot. The hypothesis of an attack was also dismissed by the investigations. Additionally, the Public Prosecutor's Office of Minas Gerais considered the possibility of an environmental crime due to the fuel leakage at the waterfall where the aircraft crashed. However, the presented reports demonstrated the absence of pollution in the river, fish mortality, vegetation destruction, or any life risk, thereby dismissing this possibility. With all technical issues clarified, it is crucial to remember that behind this tragedy was a talented young woman passionate about music. Marília Mendonça left a legacy that transcends any technical or legal explanation. In April 2024, Marília became the first Brazilian artist to reach 10 billion streams on Spotify, a testament to the lasting impact of her music. Her legacy is eternal, and her songs will continue to be sung for generations. Now, let's recall the most remarkable moments of this incredible artist's life, with a tribute of photos and images that celebrate her journey, her brilliance, and the joy she brought to millions of fans around the world.